City, sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous. These are their stories.
Hey guys, welcome to a free to the public edition of the Munch My Benson Movie Club. My name's Adam. I'm here in Albuquerque, and I'm joined on the line by Josh. How are things, Josh?
Things are fine.
Cool.
Glad we got to watch a really fucking good movie.
Yeah, on that note, we watched 2007's remake of The Heartbreak Kid. Oh, I'm being told by my earpiece that, we were supposed to watch the original. Oops.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah.
I have so many notes about
About
Rob Corddry's performance.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
Oops.
Um,
No, we watched the
definitely
1972.
different tonally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we watched
this
the 1972 great film, which I had never seen, The
phenomenal.
Heartbreak Kid. Yeah,
I mean, holy
really
shit.
great movie. It's really good.
Yeah. Before we get too far into it, people can
Hmm.
find this for reasons that I'll get into in a little bit. It's not easy to find, but it is available for free on archive.org.
Uh-huh.
Very solid transfer. It's
Uh-huh.
also, you can stream it on YouTube. I
Yeah.
think the quality is a little less great on the YouTube one, but
It was
it's
fine.
totally
I
fine.
I watched it on my TV with the YouTube one. It was totally
Mhm.
fine. And that YouTube one has been up for like over 8 years.
Yep.
So
Yeah, it's not going
it's
anywhere. Because,
exactly.
again, for reasons that I'll get into in about
Yeah.
5 minutes,
Yeah.
it's not easy. There's a very specific reason why it's not easy to find. Um, so if you need a refresher, The Heartbreak Kid could be summarized thusly. Lenny Cantrell, a shallow, narcissistic, psychopathic schlemiel, takes his new bride to Miami on their honeymoon, where he can't wait to shed himself of the burden she has represented to him for 4 of the 5 days they've been married. This need to extricate himself from this marriage is exacerbated when he meets a stunning Minnesota co-ed on the beach while he waits for his blushing bride to meet him on the first afternoon there. After which he lies, schemes, and cheats his way through his honeymoon to get what he wants. Everyone else's desires be damned. So we're watching this one for a couple reasons.
Yeah.
We've got Charles Grodin here playing Lenny Cantrell. We
Mhm.
just saw him back in Munch My Benson episode 213 playing Brett Forrester. That one we called He's a Senile Train Perv.
Mhm.
That was for season 14, episode 8, Lessons Learned. We've also seen that stunning Minnesota co-ed, Sybil
Yeah.
Shepherd, who's playing Kelly Corcoran here. We saw her back in Munch My Benson 82. They blackfaced the Unabomber. Talking season 15, episode 3, American Tragedy, where she's playing Jolene Castile, the Paula Deen analog.
That's right.
That's the one where they had Paula Deen shoot Trayvon Martin, which totally happened in real life. Um, and this is just her second film. Her only credit before this was The Last Picture Show. Though I
Wow.
believe she was on shampoo bottles before this, right? I think
I
that's
we'd
I think
have to
that's
I
the
have to look at her
line.
page.
I think she was like the face of surely not Head and Shoulders, some magnificent shampoo. I believe she was a model before she was in the Last Picture Show.
She was on a Glamour magazine cover in 1970, which apparently
Yeah, which
caught
would have
the
been
eye
before
of
of Peter
Peter
Bogdanovich.
Bogdanovich.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
We've also got Audra Lindley here. Munchies saw her. She's playing Mrs. Corcoran, Kelly's mom. Sybil Shepherd's mom. We saw her back in Movie Club episode number 3, where she was playing Frances Parker in Desert Hearts. So she was running the place where Helen Shaver went to go stay. And we have also seen Doris Roberts, who's playing Charles Grodin's mom, in Munch My Benson Movie Club episode 14, The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. Obviously, the audience knows her from Everybody Loves Raymond and Remington Steele, but she was playing the mayor's wife in The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. Now, others of note, kind of just boils down to 2 here. And both of them were nominated for fucking Oscars for their performances in this.
And they should have won.
Yeah, because holy shit, they're both so fucking good.
I mean, it's a crime that Grodin wasn't also nominated.
Yeah, I mean, wow.
And Elaine May, because holy shit, it's a great movie.
Yes. But Eddie Albert is playing Mr. Corcoran, Sybil Shepherd's dad. This is his second Oscar nomination. He also had a Best Supporting Oscar nomination for Roman Holiday. He is a University of Minnesota alum. So, whatever. School spirit, yay.
Realism.
No, for me personally.
Yeah, I know. But I assume all the girls at the U look like Sybil Shepherd, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Yep.
Yep.
I bagged one of them.
That's what I learned from this.
Yep. So, also, Eddie Albert was in Escape to Witch Mountain, The Longest Yard, The Longest Day. I must have stopped listing movies that he was in because I don't think
he was in a lot of movies.
I don't think the movie that he was in was just Attack.
Yeah,
I think I got interrupted partially through my note.
He was in movies like going back to the 30s.
Yeah. He's a well-established actor, but seriously, holy shit,
he's so good.
We'll get into it more, but man. What a fucking performance. Then we've got the other Oscar nominee, Jeannie Berlin, playing Lila Kolodny.
I mean, she's also fantastic because I think she has kind of a tighter like rope to walk.
Yeah.
Because she could easily take that character and make her like unsympathetic, and she's super sympathetic.
Yeah. So she's obviously gotten Best Supporting Actress nomination here. She's Elaine May's daughter. May had her after getting married and immediately knocked up at 17. Jeannie Berlin's also in Portnoy's Complaint, Margaret, Inherent Vice, The Fabelmans, and You Hurt My Feelings. She had recurring roles in The Night Of, Hunters, and Succession, of course. Where she is playing, God damn it, why can't I think of her character's name now? Didn't write it down. She's the one who's fucking
I'll be there real quick.
Yeah.
Sid. Oh, she's Sid.
Yeah.
Who's like their who's like, what is she, like public relations, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that her?
Yeah. Once all the shit's going down, she's in a bunch of episodes. Now for background of the film, this is written by Neil Simon.
No, she runs the news. She runs the news.
The news network. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was written by Neil Simon, who's adapting it from a Bruce J. Friedman short story that appeared in Esquire, which was called A Change of Plan. Obviously, Elaine May directed this. She, of course, directed Ishtar, which we did for Movie Club episode 15.
Yeah, and for which she was blackballed from Hollywood.
Yes, which is total bullshit. She was the first female director.
It's good.
Yes, it's good. She was the first female director with a Hollywood deal since Ida Lupino when she directed A New Leaf in 1971. This is Elaine May's second feature. She won a Grammy for Best Comedy Album with Mike Nichols, and they were nominated for 3 more. She became the second oldest performer to win a Tony when she won Best Actress in a Play for her performance in Lila Neugebauer's revival of Kenneth Lonergan's play, The Waverly Gallery, in 2019. So she just won a Tony like 5 years ago. She's been thrice married, and she was Stanley Donin's partner from 1999 until his death in 2019. Stanley Donen, of course, famed director. He directed Charade, amongst many other films. This is one of the only instances in Neil Simon's body of work where he adapted someone else's material. He had a provision in his contract that none of his dialogue could be changed without his permission for
Really?
this.
Jeez. Wow.
And then, which obviously that clashed a little bit with Elaine May's improvisational inklings. And for a little while, they had an agreement where she would film one of the script and then her version, and they could decide which was better. And then, per Charles Grodin from his memoir, about a week into shooting, Simon stopped coming to set, effectively ceding control to Elaine May, because I think he figured out that, oh wait, she might actually know what she's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Neil Simon kept pushing for Jeannie Berlin to be replaced, considering her not attractive enough, and stumping for Diane Keaton, again per Grodin, with Neil Simon apparently not knowing that Berlin, who was going by her mother's maiden name, was Elaine May's daughter. But he was wrong about that too. So
yeah.
This was shot in New York, Miami, and obviously Minneapolis.
Yeah.
The Doral Hotel on the ocean is now called Miami Beach Resort and Spa. But they did shoot on campus at the University of Minnesota, and where he's parked his car is not legal. That is just straight up sidewalk. And then Palomar Pictures International, which was the entertainment division created by pharmaceutical company Bristol Myers Squibb, acquired the rights to this film along with the rights to Sleuth, and then shuttered their entertainment division shortly thereafter, leaving this film in seemingly permanent distribution limbo and without a home video release since the early 2000s.
Wow.
But that means no one's chasing it down, so
but at least someone was able to upload watchable versions of it. It's
yeah,
like
at least it was
juggler.
DVD and not VHS. Yeah. Now the movie.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's fascinating because so it starts with a wedding, right? And it starts with
kind
this,
of. Like, we get like a montage of the courtship, kind of.
That's right. Yeah.
And the montage of the courtship has that wonderful scene where they're like fooling around on the bed, and he's like trying to, like, his arm is in this like insane position where he's like getting stonewalled and like physically shut down. You know, like he is not getting to, like, you know, advance past whatever base he's trying to round here. And when he's sitting there laying there trying to argue that nobody waits anymore, it's so goddamn funny. Yeah. But he's trying to worm his arm into a position where he can get somewhere, and it's like it's not successful at all. But he's like sitting there, just the fucking the scene and that like comic tension between the two of them is so great.
Yeah, and so I only watched it once. I know you've watched it several times.
Yeah, I watched it twice. Yeah,
and I need to rewatch it because I got to tell you, like for the first half of it, you know, I there was like comic moments in it, but it was like in some ways like such a bleak portrayal of a relationship that it was just goddamn heartbreaking. It was just like, Jesus Christ, this is 4 days in.
It is. I mean, just it was like unabashed shamelessness of how horrible he is.
Yeah, I mean, it's somebody mentioned, like, noted it as like I have it here on the Museum of the Moving Image when they did a screening of it. They noted it as like she like fashioned the height of cringe-inducing comedy, basically. Like, she created cringe comedy, and that was like as good as it gets, basically.
Yeah, you don't get I don't think there's better than this, honestly. Like, this is like the pitchiest black comedy.
Yeah.
I like, he is
He's loathsome.
He's utterly loathsome, but Grodin's so fucking good that
Yeah.
you just want this movie to keep going forever
Yeah.
because he's just like relishing in every fucking like. I can't
see what his
speak
next
highly enough
adventure
of
is
his
after it.
performance.
Yeah,
It's just fucking bonkers how good this is. And so we get to the wedding. We get the wedding.
So the movie is kind of bookended by these two weddings.
Yes.
So I forgot that, yeah, there is like the brief montage of the courtship, and then it gets to the wedding, and it's a very long wedding scene, the first one.
Right.
Where
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of like jump cutting. It's
also
scene.
a hilariously tight room for the wedding. Like the room is so small because they rushed into this thing. You know, like I think there's a definite intent there. In this wedding is happening in this room that's that small because he just wants to fuck basically.
Yeah, but so the movie, it's funny because it's like about these characters, but it's also kind of like an examination of like a broader society, because it's kind of about the Jewish experience.
Yeah,
right?
this is definitely like one of the benchmarks of the Jewish New Wave.
Yeah, it's like the most Jewish movie besides A Serious Man that I can think of.
Yeah,
and
you've got the Shlemiel who's like trying to. You've got the Shlemiel who, like, the instant he can take some hot blonde chicksa, that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, he's like a fuck up, but he's always kind of getting what he wants, kind of in spite of himself.
Yes.
And you've got Lila, who is like the, it's, you could almost say it's like bordering on anti-Semitism. What like a stereotype of
there were
Jewish
reviews
ladies.
that were saying that, but obviously that's
it's like he came from this world, and then as soon as he could like depart it, he was like running as fast as he could for this next thing, only to like achieve it and realize that he doesn't fucking belong.
Not even that he doesn't. Well, kind of. There's more going on in that last scene. It's, but we'll get there.
But you are left with the sense of stark alienation at the very end.
I don't know that it's quite that, but I mean that's there's an element of that, but I think there's also he will just be whatever he needs to for whoever, and like
that's true. Yeah,
but he's basically not a grown man. He's like when we're left with him engaging with children, and the children even get bored with him because he's never developed anything past like wanting to sate his id though. Like all he wants is to just like. It's all about this instant gratification or just like gratification, and then once he gets it, he doesn't know what to do because he's not like a fully formed person. He's this basically like a man child who is even like eventually loses the attention of these two children.
Yeah, it's true, and they're like out of here. No, it's very funny. The last scene is very funny, but So anyway, the wedding, it's like this like big Jewish wedding, but it's in this very tight room. But that's like
it is so tight. It is so funny how small.
But that's just like a very New York experience.
Well, sure, but it's also a very New York experience because they're rushing into this wedding. You know, they haven't been together very long.
Yeah,
he clearly wants to. I mean, the scene in the bedroom before nobody waits anymore.
He's getting wet married just to get laid.
Yes.
Which is fantastic. And she's so earnest about it. She's so excited once they get on the road, We're going to be together for 40 or 50 years.
Yeah, oh God. And she keeps saying it too. And he's like, why do you keep saying
Every time
this?
she says it,
I know. You see basically, I mean, his reaction is basically like pulsing temple, like vein. But at the wedding, it's really instructive because he's almost never shown engaging anyone deeply. And so like, there are these like really cagey ways.
He's like shaking a hand and taking the envelope.
Yeah, and others might have in-depth interactions, but he's never more than like surface level and performative in that opening at the wedding. And so like it's definitely like setting the tone for what we're supposed to expect him to be, even though there's like he's not doing anything egregious, but we know that he's like just a fucking shallow person. I love in the car when she's singing and he says, "You have a lousy voice."
It's brutal. Now the car, there's this, like, Elaine May's doing this thing, and it starts in the car where she's pointing the camera directly at the sun, and this happens time and time again, and it's not something that one does because in classic filmmaking you would never ever point the camera at the sun. The first time it was ever done
Easy Rider
in a movie was Rashomon. And
so I thought you were going for the flare. The flare is first used in Easy Rider, I believe, because that's what Conrad, is it Conrad Hall who was a DP on?
Yeah, they love the flare on, but in Rashomon he's pointing the camera directly at the sun in multiple scenes, and it's black and white, so it has a different effect. But in this, she's pointing the camera directly at the sun, and this happens like over and over again, at least through him deciding that he's gonna leave his wife for Sybil Shepherd. And it's I haven't seen it again to really like parse exactly what that means, but it's kind of this like he's trying to he's trying to get it out of this thing, essentially. He's trying to go to outer space, and he realizes the mistake he's made when he's in the car with this woman who just wants to start a loving relationship.
But not just that. The instant he's had sex, the look in his eye, it's immediately like, oh, he's done with her.
It is.
But then there's, after in their sort of like post-coital embrace, she's like drawing circles on his chest. She's eating the Milky Way in bed. She says pee-pee. He's sitting there watching her sleep from across the room in the morning. He's completely dressed.
Yeah, like she's a fucking alien.
Yeah. And he's just like, what have I fucking done?
He's looking at her like, I looked at the cricket I just had to escort out of my bathroom just a minute before you sent the call.
And she's asking, they're at the diner, and she's like, why are you so quiet? And he's like, I'm always quiet in the morning. And then she gets that fucking egg salad sandwich, and I mean,
for one thing, it's a weird breakfast. Both of them have weird breakfast choices.
Yes,
because she's getting an egg salad sandwich with a shake, and he's drinking a Coke. I don't remember what his food choice was, but
yeah, it's been a couple weeks, so I don't remember, but
it's still quite strange. Yeah. But she's getting egg salad all over the place. But
all over her face. It's really gross. Again, great, such great, it's physical comedy essentially. And it's so fucking funny.
But it's so fun. How repulsed he is instantly as soon as he's had sex with her.
Yes.
In like a motel in Virginia, I guess. And later he's like, I thought things were great in Virginia, and then in Georgia I was beginning to have my doubts, and then we got to Florida.
That's when, of course, he's explaining everything to, it's to her dad, right? Isn't it to Eddie Albert?
It might be to Eddie Albert, like one of the first.
Well, I think it's in the scene where he's talking about his intentions to marry Kelly.
Yeah, but is it when they're like before?
It could be. Okay, so it's either at the bar.
Oh, it's when he first tells them that he's a newlywed. That's
right. So
and Eddie Albert's like, that newlywed's not getting anywhere near my baby.
Yeah. So on day 2 in the car, she's singing solo. There's also the "Tell Me It's Wonderful" bit, which is really funny. Tell me it's wonderful, tell me it's wonderful, and he's like, it's goddamn wonderful, all right.
Why do you keep asking me?
It's difficult to give out bulletins in the heat of passion. And then after they fuck the second time, she's asking why he's quiet. He's like, I'm always quiet at night. So he's always quiet in the morning. He's always quiet at night. I'm shocked that they never turn the radio on.
God, maybe it doesn't work. It's a cool car though.
Yeah.
The Triumph or something. It's a cool car. I like it.
Uh, so they get to Miami.
Mhm.
I didn't really understand when they walk into the lobby of the hotel. I didn't understand their reactions necessarily. Um, I feel like there was like a textual read that I kind of missed there, but I don't know. But they're up in the hotel getting ready to go down to the beach,
Yeah, and they
and
like unpack their shit, and he's standing on the balcony,
and
and
she
I
is,
love this scene. I
what in
love
the fuck is she doing to her hair?
every time he comes in, he's like, "It looks great out there." He comes in, she's doing some shit to her hair, and it seems like hours have passed, and her
And
hair
it's
is just
getting more and more
worse
insane.
worse.
Yeah. Um,
It's great.
so finally he's like, I'm just going down to the beach. Meet me down there in
Yeah.
what, 10 or 15 minutes or whatever.
We've all been there in one way or another. Like,
Yes.
we're excited about something, and the person we're with is
Mhm.
taking for goddamn
They're
ever.
fucking lollygagging, and like lollygagging in a way that like is nonsensical.
Yeah.
But so he gets down to the beach, and then we get the "you're in my spot."
Yeah. Well, that's staring up at the sun.
Uh-huh.
You're in my spot.
Yeah.
Camera's fully in the sun. You could barely make out that there's a person there.
Right. And that
the
person
sun
is Sybil
is
Sybil Shepherd circa 1970.
all-time smoke show Sybil
Yeah.
Shepherd.
Uh-huh. s- so they sort of have their, like, I guess, meet cute.
Yeah.
It's a little more pernicious than a meet cute, but it's essentially meet cute. So they have that on the beach, and then as she's off, sort of frolicking in the water,
Mhm.
Jeannie Berlin enters from behind and is up on the sort of ledge above the beach, and when he gets
Pussy
up,
wall.
it is so fucking funny. His like whole, like, gets up, like, kind of brushes off, does whatever, like his
She's
whole
like standing
routine.
right above him, and she's like, Lenny.
Yeah.
And he's like
acting
pretending
like he
doesn't
does
hear.
not hear. So then cut to them sitting on chaise on the fucking
By the pool.
like, pool deck.
Uh-huh.
And I just want to get a little tan. I know when I've had enough. She does not.
Yeah, it's classic.
Yeah, very, very priceless. We also find out that she can't swim, and that he didn't know this, but that's kind of like a
sign that maybe you guys didn't
maybe
know
they rushed
each other
into
very
this.
well.
Yes. And so then, smash cut to them in the hotel room, and she is like a fucking strawberry.
Yeah.
And
he like goes on a great rant here. He's like, I
God.
thought we would go to the dog races. I thought we would go to Highlight.
Uh-huh. And she says, I'll put on the stuff that stops me from puffing up. And he's like, there is no stuff. Like this whole exchange is beautiful. Like him like basically like lashing out at her for ruining the vacation, even though he's already like angling.
Oh yeah. He's already got one foot
in
out
his
there.
head. He's already married to Kelly. Like he is,
and he goes on to thoroughly ruin the honeymoon quickly.
Oh yes. So he's like, I'm just gonna go down and have a beer at the bar. So they have the second "you're in my spot."
You're sitting in my seat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's like, then he tells her, I'm on my honeymoon. I just got married 3 days ago.
Yeah. God damn it. Like, I mean, he's not lying. At least he's not lying about any of this shit to her. He's obviously lying to his wife, because when he gets back up, he's like,
some wild lies.
Oh God. And it gets more and more insane, and like every iteration or like kind of like successive lie gets more and more ridiculous. But he gets up after spending the entire night at the bar, whole fucking night. And she asks, "Did you meet anyone at the bar?" And he's like, "What? Who would I meet at the bar? there's just a bunch of jerks. Oh God. And she said she put some cream on. And she's covered in
she's
cream.
slathered.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like it honestly, it looks like she's put meringue on herself.
Yeah.
It's so thick. And then this is like when the line just takes the fuck off. He's lying. Kelly also gives zero fucks that he just got married 3 days ago. Because he tells her that the next morning on the like pool deck at the patio bar maybe.
But she's just bored. She thinks it's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, she's bored. This is just how she's amusing herself on this vacation. I love when she says she's from Minnesota and he says, "What do you want to live in a dumb place like Minnesota for?"
Yeah, good point. And then later on he says, "I love the air. I love the country." He's like, he goes on like a 10-minute spiel about how much he loves Minnesota.
His ability to like just spew meaningless pablum is like unmatched. It's crazy. I mean, we'll get to the dinner scene eventually, but holy shit. And it immediately the instant that Mr. Corcoran meets Lenny.
Yeah. He sees through his bullshit immediately.
It doesn't know that he's a newlywed, none of this. He does not like the fucking cut of his jib at all.
Yeah.
So then he, you know, goes up and makes another excuse to like go down to the hotel because he's just gonna have,
he ran into his army buddy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll spend a lot of time talking about with his wife, who is
he's just gonna go have a drink with them.
Yes. Yeah. So he's going down for what he intends to be a quick drink, and he's trying to actually like go back up to the room. Though he's already told Kelly that he is leaving his wife. On the second day they've met. Like day two of their like whatever this is, you know, burgeoning relationship, I guess. He's already told her, "I'm leaving my wife. This was a mistake." This might be when he told her, might be when he says, you know, I things were great in Virginia. Wasn't so sure, but that it might
wasn't so
that.
sure in Georgia. Things were totally falling apart in Florida.
Which, I mean, the Florida part makes sense. It makes sense that everything would fall apart in Florida.
Yeah, that's kind of part of the course.
Yeah, that's what happens in
Florida's
Florida.
for.
So she says he'll come if I ask him to her father, and he's like, maybe just a fruit cocktail. And then they're at the table seemingly like at the stage.
Yeah, like front row.
Front row, like abutting the stage. And it's
a real old time show going on up on the stage.
What the fuck is that show?
It's some Catskill shit for the Goyim.
Mean, it is shocking how like who and I mean like he's saying it's great, but like this is
he's saying
the
it's
worst.
Great because he will lie to anybody at all times if he thinks what he's saying is what they want to hear.
Yeah, but they are like jammed in at this table. And the camera is always so tight that everyone at the table is taking up the whole frame. So like this is so claustrophobic and awkward, and like the camera, like the shot is claustrophobic too.
There's not enough space for 5 people at the table.
And it looks like he is sitting on like a stool or something. He is like so much lower than everybody else at this table. It's like this is so fucking awkward. Like, I mean, if we're talking cringe, you know, this scene is cringe. But obviously the dad could see he's a total bullshitter here. Then we get
Oh, then one of the friends, the friend of the dad, drops that they're gonna go out on the boat tomorrow.
Oh
I think
yeah. Yeah,
he
and there's
drops the
also
bomb.
that, like, you really get the sense that Sybil Shepherd is sort of like playing with her food here.
Yeah,
That Kelly is, this is like, she's about to devour this fucker, but like, anyway.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so he gets back up to the room and spews this like nonsensical story about
Wild.
this accident. Like, did you watch the news? And then he says he has to be at court at 7 a.m. because that's when the boat is pushing off at like 8
This
or
is
whatever.
Florida. That's
That's
when
the court's open. So he rushes out
Uh-huh.
in clothes that should be for court, and then has to change in the parking lot as Dad is desperately trying to push the
Eddie
boat
Albert
off.
sees him coming and
Is like
cast lines.
yeah, the lines are pulled. He's like literally
Hit the
pushing the boat
gas.
off of one of the fucking pilings, like
Uh-huh.
just like straight up like pushing the boat off of the dock, and then he hops on at the last minute.
Yeah.
And then we immediately, like, on the boat, we get him talking about, them being together for 40 or 50 years
Yeah.
because he
Yeah.
presumes that this is what women want to hear, because that's all this woman that he's married is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
The grass is always greener.
yeah. So he gets up to the room. He gets back up to the room.
Now
after
he
this.
has like an outrageous tan.
Yeah, I want an explanation. And court moves slow, and then he has to fuck off immediately again. And then he basically signals his intent to lay claim to Mr. Corcoran's daughter, and his response to this, and like, the divorce, it's all but taken care of, like it's a formality, whatever, but his reaction to this is, "You stay the hell out of Minnesota, you goddamn newlywed."
Yeah,
And
exactly. The delivery is perfect.
Eddie, I mean, seriously, like, Eddie Albert's a fucking revelation in this. He is fucking
He's
incredible.
so fucking good.
And you just watch as this fucking guy like weasels his way into his family, and even when he's like giving her away at the altar, like, he's not fucking happy
He's still
about
like this
it.
fucking guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he just tried to, when he's giving her away at the altar, he just tried to like buy him off for $25,000.
$25,000 was a lot in 1972.
Yeah.
So then after he tells Mr. Corcoran that he's going to prove that he's worthy of his daughter, even though he's been told to stay the hell out of Minnesota, then he takes his wife out to the nice place that they were supposed to go out to dinner. Has a total meltdown over the pecan pie that he'd been promising his wife for this whole trip, because he thinks that, I guess, this pecan pie is going to be the thing that makes her be completely okay.
God, and he has a fucking meltdown about the pecan pie.
Total pecan pie meltdown. And then she's sitting there saying tonight's been the best night of her whole trip. And he can't even be direct with her when he's trying to break up with her. And she's like, "You're so deep, Lenny. I never knew you were so deep." And then like, she mistakes one of the many ways that he tries to like tiptoe around, like saying the thing.
Having to say it.
And she's like, "Oh, Lenny, you're dying."
This is brilliant, because he says, "Who said anything about dying? I want out of the marriage. I want out of the goddamn marriage." And in the background, you can hear somebody laughing. It's so good.
I know.
Perfect.
It's fucking pitch perfect. Everything's amazing about this scene. And I mean, she is so good. This is what got her her Oscar nomination.
Yeah.
Like, that scene is like this beautiful tightrope walk.
Oh, it's great. And then at that moment, the pecan pie shows up.
Yes. And she doesn't have the appetite for it. And he's like, "I tried to tell you as far back as Virginia, Please pay attention. I don't want to have to tell you a second time.
God.
And so then he's like talking to the lawyer, and he's like, let her go to Santo Domingo to take care of the divorce faster.
Yeah. Well, at that point, it's like smash cut to a Greyhound bus, which which is him going back to New York. But it looked like it was in California. It looked like it was.
Oh,
like,
it was 100% Malibu.
Highway.
It was 100% Malibu. Like no question in my mind. I'm like, why is he in fucking Malibu? Like, what's going on here? Because there is not a part of the country
like that in Florida.
and there's not a part of the country between Miami and New York that's on the ocean. There's
not
like
a part of the country that looks like Malibu, actually. There just isn't one.
There's Malibu.
There's Malibu.
Yeah. But yes, the Greyhound is southbound on the PCH through Malibu. I could probably pinpoint like where it is. Pretty certain.
Pretty close to the house from Heat. Pretty close.
Yeah,
but,
it's not crazy far. It's in the kind of the first stretch of stuff. That's just north of the Hearst Villa,
Rockford,
or not the Hearst Villa, the Getty Villa.
Yeah. Hearst Villa's.
In San Simeon.
Yeah.
So the lawyer's like, "What's in the Midwest?" He's like, "A terrific girl I met on my honeymoon." So
brilliant.
He goes to their house, and their house is it's on an isthmus in between Lake Minnetonka and oh shit, what's the other lake? I had this.
There's a lot of lakes, man. A lot of lakes.
There are, but it's in Orono.
Okay. Big houses out there, it looks like.
Big houses, yeah. It's in a subdivision of like 6. I found out where it is exactly, but I didn't go there.
Did you go drive by?
No, I didn't. No. But I mean, I've been to some of the other Minnesota sites in this because I fucking, went to school on that campus. So he goes to their house, and her dad is like, "You show your face here again, I'm going to kick your ass across a Canadian border."
I mean, it's a bold poppin', like, like you should send a postcard or something, man.
Yeah, no, he's one track when he has something on his mind. So he tracks her down on campus because he knows he's not going to get anywhere if he goes to the house. Tracks her down on campus, and she's basically surrounded by like 3 tall.
She's surrounded by tall
Norsemen.
Nordic dudes, and every 5 seconds another dude walks by saying hello to her.
And she's like, what about this guy? And he's like, "I spent 3 years in the armed forces. That guy's through." But then, I mean, it is funny the second time, the second approach, where he poses as a Fed.
Like a DEA agent.
Yeah, and he runs them off. Like it is really funny. Like, and it does show that like he's not just a kind of like.
I mean, he's still
idiot.
Like,
he's a
not
complete
a
idiot. But
he can use his power of lies for for a good, I guess. I don't know, but for something positive, at least for him.
For him, yes, not for the rest of the world at all. No. But definitely for him. It's everything he does is in 1,000% self-serving. So then they go to a cabin in the mountains, which, as a Minnesotan,
no mountains.
I mean,
not very many.
You could like say the Iron Range maybe, and it's.
You can go skiing out there, right?
Yeah, there are places you can ski, but I would not call them.
They're not very steep,
despite the fact that the ski hill in La Crosse is called Mount La Crosse. It's a bluff, like. So.
Well,
they go to this cabin, and I mean. This scene works.
Oh yeah, it works. Yeah. Josh was a little disappointed by some of the lighting choices they made in this scene, though. I'm afraid.
I mean, whatever. I've seen Last Picture Show. It's fine. I mean, the scene works. Like the scene sizzles because Sybil's in it. Oh God! He says I pay he wants him out. He's like, I pay taxes in this town, and he's asked what why he wants him gone so bad, and he's like, because I hate him. So but he eventually caves and lets him come to dinner.
Yeah.
And Eddie Albert sits there. He doesn't say a fucking word at the dinner table.
Yeah,
he just sits there, but there are tons of reaction shots of him sitting there, and he's just fucking nailing it. But I mean, the best.
And one of the things that's so funny is that they're talking about how
food in New York is bullshit.
Well, how food in New York is bullshit. But how nice he is.
Oh, yeah. The mom and the daughter are like,
they're like, he's so nice,
conspiring
just
to try
Dad.
to get him to like see that no, Lenny's just like you, which obviously he's not. But
not at all.
Lenny is at the table spewing nonsense, and he proceeds to say,
"There's no line in that beef.
This is honest
sincerity in
this is
potatoes.
honest food. There's no lying in that beef. There's no insincerity in those potatoes.
There's no deceit in that cauliflower.
This is a totally honest meal."
Fucking brilliant.
So he takes him into his study, and Eddie Albert's like, during dinner tonight, I was listening. I find I can tell more about a man by listening to his dinner table conversation than by reading all the books in the world.
Yeah.
I've heard everything you said about honest food. I have never heard such a crock of horse shit in my life. There's no deceit in the cauliflower? So this is where he tries to pay him off to leave. And he says, Grodin's like, I worked my ass off all 3 years in the armed forces.
I fought every day
towns.
of those 3 years. Fortunately, not overseas on account of a minor back injury.
But we get the smash cut to the wedding where the begrudging father walks his daughter down the aisle. His smile, Grodin's smile that he flashes at the altar is...
But they also
so disturbing.
Pick like the weirdest, most gingerbread ass looking Lutheran church they could possibly find.
For sure.
To just like highlight the difference between like who he is and where he came from, which is small room crammed with Jewish people like smashing glasses and singing Hava Nagila, and where he is now in this fucking gingerbread ass place where, you know, they're on their knees like bowing before Jesus and shit.
Yeah. So we get our bookended weddings. There's more idle chit chat. He's spewing more like vacuous gibberish.
There's a lot of money in tear gas.
Oh God. I mean, we get him chatting up a libertarian veal calf farmer, a tear gas manufacturer, an insurance man, and then ultimately he's peddling his putting stuff back into the country spiel to kids who grow tired of his shtick and leave him on the couch. But
that's how the movie ends.
Oh God. It ends with 10. I was 10.
Yeah.
Like that's the like last line. It's fucking amazing. Like there was apparently Fox had handed out materials to press that implied there was a different original ending this was at advanced press screenings. But apparently he discovered things about Kelly on their vacation. But this is the ending that we ended up getting, and I think this works perfectly.
This is perfect.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to tell us that this marriage isn't going to work. It's painfully obvious that this marriage is not going to work.
It's painfully obvious that this man is
incapable
of doing anything other than whatever serves himself and only himself.
And even like when we don't, it's refreshing because like, I think usually when you think about a character, especially in a comedy, you like build this whole character, right? And so we have to know what job they do and all these other things that they're into. And with him,
he sells sporting goods, but
he
like
says
he can't
that
even
he spells sporting goods, but he can't really articulate what it is that he
no,
does.
no.
And
I mean,
other
we do
than
know
that,
that he does because he pulls up to the sporting goods place in the first shot of the. So we know that is what he was doing in New York, but he can't intimate what this entails and what
but he
sporting
probably
goods
was
are.
just like helping people try on shoes or something like that.
Yeah.
We don't really know what it was,
Right.
but like that's all we know about him, right? Besides the fact that he's a fuck up liar, like
Yeah.
that's it, and it's great.
God, I mean, it's just he's so fucking good in this.
Mm-hmm.
And you watch this and you're like, oh, that's what The Graduate could have been.
Yeah, it's way better.
It is, but he was supposed to be in The Graduate, or he turned down the lead in The Graduate.
Wow,
because the rate wasn't good enough.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, good for him.
Yeah. The producer's
Know
like,
what
this
you're
is going to
worth.
make you a star. And he's like, nah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it would have, but
Yeah, maybe it would have been a different movie, but who knows?
I don't think I don't think it wouldn't have been as good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
mean,
think
you're right.
ending, I think the ending is more.
It's more in his wheelhouse.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, by all accounts, he's just a better guy. He's not a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Oh, Josh, if you're wondering, $25,000 in 1972. Somehow it has 1973 here. Just that. Calculate. In today's money, it is worth $187,840.31.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. A lot of cheddar.
Yeah.
I like this. It's insane how good this movie is, and it's such a fucking shame that it's so hard to fucking find.
I mean, it's honestly, this is one of those rare cases in nowadays in 2024 where like the internet is doing this movie well, because you can't find it by like above board means, but it's very easy to find by just Googling it.
Right. And unfortunately, like say Cocoon, that's not that easy to find. But
yeah, some movies aren't. Like some movies are hard to find.
Or if
way.
you can find them, the transfer's so fucking bad, like with Night of the Juggler, where it's a VHS a VHS transfer, not a film transfer in it.
Yeah.
Everything that's dark in the third act is unintelligible.
There's like 2 known copies of the film, and nobody's.
Yeah. If you live in LA, you can keep your eyes peeled, and they'll play it at the New Bev every once in a while, because I think Tarantino has a copy. But
oh, nice. Yeah, but so it's good in that sense, in that it's relatively easy to watch it, but only if you just Google it, not if you like.
Yeah, not if you're like looking for it. Yeah, not if you're looking for it legally. It's very easy to find extra legally. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Elaine May's not getting paid for us watching this.
No, which is a shame.
Basically, no way to make that happen, but it's the fault of
yeah. I mean, I'll call her and see what her Cash App name is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like Venmo Elaine May for watching this. I think that would be good, or Jeannie Berlin, fantastic. Yeah. Who else? I guess Sybil Shepherd's still alive, but she doesn't need the money. Scroden dead? Yeah, we just talked about him, but yeah, he did. That's what I thought. Yeah. So
yeah, what 2021? Yeah, 2021, May 18th.
Yeah, Sybil Shepherd doesn't need the money, but
she is great in this. Every
one of them is great.
Yeah,
like they're all fantastic.
Can't recommend this highly enough.
Yeah, like you could write a dissertation on this movie.
Absolutely.
Especially if you were like doing like American studies with a focus on like Jewish identity. Like you could make this movie into a thesis, and I'm sure people have. It's for sure. Fucking brilliant.
Shout out to Art Metrano, who's the entertainer.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Very weird. I want to kind of just watch that scene again just to try to figure out what the fuck is going on.
It is so fucking strange.
I mean, it's just a shorthand, but it's a shorthand that tells us that like whatever's going on stage does not appeal to Sybil Shepherd at all. And
And shouldn't appeal to anyone.
well, it appeals to those fucking weird olds, who,
I mean,
you know,
what honestly, what it reminded me of was the scene in The Office, in the British Office, where
uh-huh.
Ricky Gervais is like doing his like dance to compete with Neil from the Swindon branch,
Oh yeah, when he has the tape,
and when he's like,
the boombox.
yeah, when he's like grunting like that, that is what this. I feel like
Yeah,
he was doing a
probably. I
take
mean,
on
because that
that.
is, high cringe comedy.
Yes.
Um, but really, like the only thing I can think of that matches this cringe wise, maybe is Peep Show. Um,
Yeah.
but and I think Peep Show, as far as like the shows, is the best and also the hardest to watch.
Yeah, it's just so strange. It's very hard to get used to the
What's
100%
going on?
POV shots.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it has its own language, but it also has this like just
I mean, that was definitely the hurdle for me early on, was like,
yeah,
this is just a lot. You're always
you're
in
always
one
one of
of,
them.
yeah, and
Mhm.
you're always one of them, and they're
Yeah, they're terrible people.
they're terrible. Mark and Jeremy are awful. Uh,
Super Hands, he's all right.
yeah.
But yeah, can't recommend this highly enough. This is a fantastic movie. This might be my favorite movie that we've seen so far in the movie club, except for maybe Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I like.
But
I
right
mean,
up
I
there.
like taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3, but I think this is better.
Yeah,
This might be
this one's
this,
fantastic.
and maybe Desert Hearts are the only two that I think I would throw a 5-star rating on.
Really, you wouldn't want Taking a Pelham 1, 2, 3?
I think that's like a
It's
four and a
very
half.
good. It's a very good movie. I'm looking through what else. Puppet Masters, Josh? Just kidding.
I mean, better than Warlock. Um,
No, but
yeah,
this
I
movie,
mean,
it's
she's too young as maybe a 5-star.
well, She's Too Young was a lot of fun. Different kind of film. No,
But I
Wolfen,
mean,
man. Wolfen,
oh
I
yeah,
really
Wolfen's
like.
really great too. But I think
Different
this
kind of
is
film.
I think this is better than Wolfen. Not that I think that Wolfen's like less than perfect, but if I
Yeah.
had to choose one over the other, I would want to watch this again.
Well,
I've watched this twice
it's
in the last month, and I want to watch it again.
it's a different kind of mood, right?
Yeah.
But this movie's there's basically nothing bad I can say about this
Oh
movie,
no, it's kind of flawless.
except for the fact that when you watch it the first time, it is very bleak. Uh,
Yeah, but like
Watching Grodin through his honeymoon, it is
I don't
very
know. I
bleak.
mean, I laughed the whole fucking time.
Yeah.
Like I there's he's still so effortlessly funny that
Mhm.
even when he's playing such a fucking
Shithead.
psychopath,
Yeah,
such a psychopath, it's still fucking funny as shit.
it's true. It's true. He
It's
really
real.
is.
It's this brilliant fucking performance. I
And
honestly
nobody can do this kind of
no
dry
this
comedy like him. Like I feel like Chevy Chase's career is kind of just copying this,
yeah, absolutely.
with
He's
like
just
falling
doing
down.
he's doing like a broader take on Grodin.
Yeah, but you go back and you watch a Chevy Chase film, it's not funny anymore. But you
No.
see Grodin is very funny.
Oh, yeah. No, this
Yeah.
is aged like fine wine.
Mhm.
And I have a soft spot in my heart for Fletch, but
Oh no, me too. I have a soft spot for a lot of Chevy Chase movies,
yeah.
but I've gone back and watched,
But
ones that I
there are
loved
parts
when
of
I was
Fletch that
younger.
are not
Yeah,
that are just like, ooh, that's not funny. Um anyway.
yeah.
But
But
I
guys,
definitely think that I think the comparison's apt. I'd also like
yeah.
to see what Steely Dan would have been like if Charles Grodin had been the drummer in their college band instead of Chevy Chase.
Well, yeah, I do wonder. I don't know if Grodin was an accomplished drummer though. They had very exacting standards, Steely Dan.
They sure did.
Um,
Well, that's
there's
probably
really,
why Chevy Chase wasn't in the band after
yeah,
college.
exactly.
Yeah.
I saw an excerpt from Michael McDonald's new autobiography about about getting asked to
Singing.
audition for them. No,
Oh,
just
geez.
just like
Okay,
when they
okay.
first approached him,
Right.
like one of his friends who knew them, like was at a party with them, and he was like,
And
"Oh yeah, that sounds great."
this is before he had joined, or is this
I
after
think
he was in Doobie Brothers?
I think this was before Doobie Brothers. I don't
Okay.
know because I haven't read the whole thing, so I don't know
Yeah, I can't
exactly.
remember how the
But
timeline works exactly. Like
but
if
this
it's
is kind
he's
of like
on Steely
before he
Dan
was big.
records before. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm
this is before
like
he blew up.
yeah, he hadn't put out his solo
There was no
records or
What a Fool
anything. Yeah.
Believes,
No.
at this point.
Right.
But so like
I'm assuming
McDonald
his
was
his
like,
entree to Steely Dan in their world is what landed him in
yeah.
the Dubes.
But there was like this mutual friend, and the mutual friend like ran into Michael
I'm
McDonald
assuming
at a
it's
party.
Coco.
I I don't remember. I'm
Well,
not
no,
reading it, so I
Coco from Yacht Rock.
Oh yeah, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But the guy's like, yeah, you should audition for them. And he's like, okay, when should I audition? And I guess the guy called Steely Dan, and they were like, can you do it right now? He's like at a party. He's like, I guess.
That's awesome. I kind of have
but
to
yeah,
read this.
yeah, I want to read it too.
Yeah.
That had me excited. Now, guys, we do
Yes,
rank these
we sure do.
films every month. This is an extra. This is every week now that we're doing it. But we rank these films on a vibe-based scale from
Yes.
Benson to Greylick. Now, instead of our rigorous 10-point scale that we do in our normal episodes, in the movies, we basically come up with a character from SVU that is evoked by the film that we just watched.
A recurring or higher.
Yeah, like a regular character that we're used to. So, for instance, when we watched Warlock, which is the Julian Sands, Laurie Singer kind of fantasy time travel witches
horror
film.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe horror. Josh said it evoked Stucky.
I was gonna guess. I wasn't looking at it, but I was gonna guess. I said Stucky.
Yeah, and I said it evoked Sheila Porter. That's the Brooke Shields character.
Sure.
So
yeah.
Now we come to ranking the Heartbreak Kid, and I really got to think about this one for a minute. I think I know where I'm going with this.
I got mine.
Yeah, I got mine. You go first.
Dana Lewis.
Oh, Dana Lewis. Okay.
Yeah.
Because she's like always undercover. And
No. The reason why is because she is like this whirling dervish that comes into SVUs, gets Stabler shot.
Yeah.
Multiple
gets a judge killed.
Gets multiple people shot, killed, hurt, injured, whatever. Gets her witnesses killed. It like there's collateral damage left in her wake in every fucking episode.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's all for just her case and whatever her needs are, and she uses everyone around her.
As anyone who's ever heard anybody speak in any accent knows, she's fucking lying every time she opens her mouth.
Yes. Yes, because if you watch her fucking Oscar speech, she's not talking like Dana Lewis.
Yeah, that's true. So Josh is going Dana Lewis. I'm going Elliot Stabler.
Okay.
And my reasons are that, he's a bull in a china shop, always wrecking shit up.
Sure.
And also, he's always constantly wrecking his own family.
True.
Hanging them out to dry and chasing the next Danish thing that walks into the unit.
They were separated. They were legally separated at that time. And like he had been served with divorce papers, to be fair.
Forgetting that his wife got blown up in a car bomb and immediately getting horned up for his ex-partner all over again.
Well, and there's also I guess spoiler
we haven't
alert.
talked about
we
it
haven't
yet,
talked about that episode yet, but there is the
but it's implied that
in the
Sharon Stone.
Yeah. Anyway.
And maybe it's implied that Benson did too. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Heartbreak Kid. Wow, can't recommend it.
Yeah, great movie. Do it. YouTube, archive.org, both.
I'll put the links in the show notes.
It's hard. So we like to give people legal means to watch these films. We don't like to find the illegal free site to find it, but that is impossible with this film. And those quote unquote illegal means to watch this are
very above board.
Yes, exactly. Very easy to find and very easy for a rights holder to take down if they had a problem with it. So, yeah.
Super easy. Like, the fucking one on YouTube's been up for 8 years. Like, no one is coming after this because Bristol Squire or Bristol Squid, whatever. Bristol Myers Squibb.
Pharma companies aren't like digging people for copyright
But that's
violations.
the same issue that arose with fucking, it was like a refrigerator company or whatever that owns Night of the Juggler, right?
Yeah, something like that. I forget
Bristol
exactly.
Myers Squibb. Sorry, if you're one of those fucking corporations that shouldn't be in the fucking film business, don't get in the goddamn film business.
Yeah, exactly. Or like sell your stake in your film business to a business that is in the film business.
Yeah, don't just shutter the entertainment division because you realize that you fucking threw bad money after, or good money after bad. Anyway.
Yeah, whatever.
Cool.
Which is kind of what Eddie Albert's character sadly had to do in this movie.
Again, like this makes me like want to actively seek out more Eddie Albert movies because I've seen Roman Holiday, but I didn't like it's been a while and I don't think I thought a ton about him in it, even though he was nominated. And it makes me want to watch, like, seek out Eddie Albert movies because he's that good in this.
I mean, he's in a million like kind of lesser westerns.
For sure.
That seems to be like his primary. I'm trying to think of any of these other ones that
I'm surprised they haven't renamed the entire University of Minnesota campus after him.
Well, yeah. Or Sybil Shepherd. I mean, she was there.
I've never been prouder.
She stepped on your campus.
I know.
I mean,
I wish I'd known at the time because I loved moonlighting then.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh, nice. I see a movie that we're going to do for whatchamacallit, for Unkind Rewind.
Unkind Rewind. Which one? Oh, yeah. I guess you can't talk about it yet.
It's a season 2 one. We're
nice.
we're halfway through recording season 2, and we haven't even.
Man, I got to seek out he was on a 2-parter, I think, of Simon and Simon.
He was, yeah. But he's a judge, so it might not be that fun.
Well,
anyway, Simon.
Still, any excuse to watch a Simon and Simon 2-parter is fine by me. Sure.
He's in 2 Kung Fu's.
Nice. I think Kung Fu is actually not hard to watch right now.
Yeah, it's on Tubi, I think.
Nice.
Anyway,
I should rewatch all of those. Those are awesome. Fucking cool, man.
Well,
just to watch the intro to it is such a calming experience.
Yeah, most stuff. But yeah, this was awesome. Guys,
yeah, and if you liked this and you should watch it, consider joining the Patreon. For $5 a month, you can listen to us talk about movies that are usually not as good as this one, but sometimes they're quite close. Good. Yeah. The last one we watched was Capricorn 1. It was like not a perfect movie, but it was totally worth watching.
And the stunt scene at the end is amazing.
Really one of the most outrageously good stunt sequences I've ever seen in my life. So it's worth watching just for that.
Completely insane that they
bonkers.
Did this.
Crazy that people, like multiple stuntmen, didn't die. Crazy
like aviation experts were like, this is the fucking craziest thing we've ever seen of. Like,
they purposefully crashed 2 helicopters
into the side of a fucking cliff. Into a mountainside. It's utterly insane. And those helicopters are like straight up trying to push a fucking biplane down.
Yeah, but you see the helicopters crash, you're like, wow, that looks pretty good. Then you read about it later, like, holy shit.
You read about it later and you're like, holy shit, they reused the footage from this in the Fall Guy, the TV show. Like, to show that the crew got out successfutly. Like, they like wave at this. They used extra footage from the film in the Fall Guy. Utterly insane. But yeah, definitely watch it. And join the Patreon. It's fun. And you also, with the $5 At the $5 level, you also get the uncut episodes, which are
You sure do.
so much longer.
And you get the entire back catalog.
Yeah.
And once you join, there's 10 episodes that are unavailable there for various reasons. But if you send Josh
I reach out. I reach out through the messaging thing on Patreon, and
okay.
Once you respond with the email address you want it sent to, you've got them.
Yeah, there you go.
But guys, the music still.
Oh, that's what it is. But guys, on that note, I think it's time to get out there and munch The Heartbreak Kid. It's a great fucking film.
Yeah,
you'll like it.
Yeah.